matters like the stamp duty issue. Okay, who collects stamp duty between individual transaction before it was now changed to electronic money transfer levy now. So issues like that when it comes to who to pay your tax to, I mean, the relevant tax authority, are resolved at the tax board level. Don't forget that tax is about money. It's about revenue generation. The federal government need money, the state government need money, the local government need money. So all of them need to, the state and the federal need to come together at the joint tax board to discuss and agree on the way forward. Now, the chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service is the chairman of the joint tax board. That's the chairman of the joint tax board. And also, one members from each of the federation being a person experienced in tax matter nominated by the commissioner of finance. So each state is represented at the joint tax board, and usually they have their meetings in different states just to ensure that they carry everybody along. The secretary to the board, who shall be an officer experienced in tax matter, appointed by the Federal Civil Service Commission, though not a member, is responsible for keeping record of the board proceeding and performing other administrative duty. Legal advisor of the Federal Inland Revenue Service is to be in attendance at the board meeting and is to be the legal advisor to the board. Okay, so the joint tax board is also very robust. And the powers and duty of the joint tax board. What are the powers and duties of the joint tax board? Now, the personal income tax degree, okay, 993 stipulate the power and duty of the joint tax board as follows: to exercise the power or duty conferred on it by express provision of this decree, and any other power and duty arising under this decree which may be agreed by the government of each territory to be exercised by the board, to exercise powers and perform duties confirmed on it by any enactment of the federal government imposing tax on the income and profit of company which may be agreed by the Federal Inland Revenue Service, to advise the federal government's request in respect of double taxation arrangements concluded or other consideration with any other country in respect of rates of capital allowance, other taxation matter having effect throughout Nigeria, and in respect of any proposed amendment to the decree. Now, basically, the issue of what we have in Finance Act, that if you are earning 30,000 naira, or less, you will not pay minimum tax. It's in the Finance Act, and these are the kind of matter that will be discussed or that must have been discussed at the joint tax board, because that 1% that minimum tax that is lost is not affecting federal government, but it's affecting the state government, the state internal revenue services, and not the federal government. So there would have been a way, a compensation that you and I might not be in the knowledge that the federal government should give the state, because they are the one forfeiting their revenue. Even the fact that their revenue is not much, they are even forfeiting 30,000 naira, 1% for those that are earning 30,000 naira or less. In some states, majority of the people working there are earning less than 30,000 naira. Lagos State is an exception. So, they are also under minimum tax. But now, the Finance Act 2020 says that they will not pay minimum tax. That means that the state's internally generated revenue will reduce. So, and I'm sure that this must have been discussed and agreed upon before uh, before any other thing, before making it as a law. Now, we also have the state's joint revenue committee. They start at the local government level as well, while they start at the state government level. So the state government and the local government have a way of discussing tax matter just to ensure that to prevent double taxation or to avoid double non-taxation. Now this is established for each state of the federation and shall comprise the chairman of the state's internal revenue service as the chairman of the local government revenue committee, a representative of the Bureau of Local Government Affairs, not below the rank of a director, a representative of the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission as an observer, that's at the state level, the state sector commander of the Federal Road Safety Commission as an observer, the legal advisor of the State Internal Revenue Services, the secretary of the committee who shall be a staff of the State Internal Revenue Service. So, what's the function of the State Joint Revenue Committee. So one of the state function are to implement decision of the Joint Tax Board. Okay, so the function to implement decision of Joint Tax Board, to advise the Joint Tax Board and the state and local government on revenue matters, to harmonize tax administration within the states, to enlighten members of the public generally on states and local government revenue, to carry out other matters as may be assigned to it by the Joint Tax Board. And these are areas they function. Okay. We also have the revenue committee at the local government level. We call them local government revenue committee. So these are people that just like we have federal inland revenue services, we have states internal revenue services, we have the local government revenue committee. Especially the market women, they are aware of these people. They go from market stalls, those selling on the roadside, and they collect their taxes from them. But in terms of accountability and the utilization of the fund collected is where we are having issue. But in terms of collection, they collect. But in terms of leakages, if the amount collected is remitted properly to the local government account or the state government account, I mean, and if the amount is being used to finance what the local government want to do for the government here, that's where we need to, these are areas that need to be discussed further. Now, the Local Government Revenue Committee is the local government tax authority. The committee was established, by the Personal Income Tax Decree as well, now an Act 2011, but then was a decree. So the committee is empowered to collect taxes at the local government level. The taxes collected by local government revenue are listed in the appendix of the decree. Okay, so we have the taxes and levy approved list of collection. You see the tax to be collected for the federal, tax to be collected at the states, tax to be collected at the local governments. And these are the taxes that are supposed to be collected at local government. The composition of the governing board of the revenue committee are as follows: the chairman, who is the supervisor of finance, and the three local government councillor, okay, and two persons to be nominated by the chairman of the local government. Those to be nominated must be experienced in revenue matters. So we're looking at the last slide on my own part before I come back again. The function of the local government revenue committee. What's their function? They shall be responsible for the assessment and allocation of all taxes, fine, and rates under its jurisdiction, and shall account for all the amounts so collected in a manner to be prescribed by the chairman of local government. And they shall be autonomous of the local government treasury and be responsible for the day-to-day administration of the department, which form its operational arm. They shall advise the local governments on tax-related matters. So those are the function of the local government revenue committee, mainly assessment, collection of taxes at the local government level, in line with the taxes and levy approved list for collection. Okay, they do that. Although the way they do it might be not be professional, but these are areas of improvement and discussion when it comes to tax issues in Nigeria. And of course, for amount collected, the utilization, is the amount used to fund like the garage at the local government, and the local roads that are in the local governments and other things that should be done. Are they used for that? These are issues coming out of the tax discussion. Okay, now thank you for listening to this session. I would like to invite, before I come back for the final thoughts, invite Mr. Idris to deliver his own presentation. After this all the presentation, I will have time for question and answer.